everyone. Let's see who's here. Welcome to Course in Miracles study. Trying something new. Hello, Tempa. Good to see you. Trying something to see if I can. I'm playing non-copyrighted music. Hello, Jean Marie. Hello, Tempa. Welcome, everybody. Let's wait for people to come in. You can share out if you'd like to. Hello, Sarah. Can you hear that music? Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? Okay. Okay. Turn this down just a little bit. All right. Sound is great. Hello, Noel. All right, everybody. So welcome. It's Wednesday night. That means that we are doing Course in Miracles study. This section is really great. So if you have your Course in Miracles, you can open up to chapter 24, and we're doing number 2, the Treachery of Specialness. Before we get going, I'd like to say a prayer and just focus. So let's close our eyes. Everyone take a big deep breath. Dear Mother, Father God, Divine Source, Universe, all that is, we come together today with open hearts, open minds, and an open spirit. We allow tonight to be a time of love and support and guidance. We ask that everything that transpires today be of the highest vibration of love and peace and stillness. And we stop for a moment. We take a deep breath. And together we say thank you very much. And so it is. Amen. Amen. All right. So it's great to have you here, everybody. If you don't know who I am, if you're new, please say I'm new. I'd love to meet you and say hello to you personally. Thanks for your thumbs up. That really helps me in the algorithms. But if you don't know me, my name is Max Ryan. I'm a spiritual teacher, law of attraction trainer, and a mentor. And I have been studying and working with A Course in Miracles for 38 years, as evidenced by my incredibly used book, well-loved book. And if you're new to A Course in Miracles is not a religion. People from all religions and no religions practice A Course in Miracles. And so the Course in Miracles is giving us principles for living, right? Giving us very, very specific principles to live our life. Course in Miracles has one goal and one goal only, and that is peace, true inner peace. Take a deep breath. And so what we do here is we can't get very deep into A Course in Miracles. Is a very, very, very long, in a way, exhaustive study, but it's also very simple, just so you know that. And yeah, so what I do is I pick a certain section that I feel like would be right for us to look at, right? And then I'll ask you, we'll do a little bit of interaction, but that's basically what we're talking about, right? As Carol said, it's actually on page 502. 502. Great. All right. So before we get into this, I want to talk about one of the reasons why I picked this tonight is I really, really, really believe that that this subject. Hello, everybody. This subject is very germane to this time that we're living in. This time that we're living in is, as the course would say, the world is magnifying all the separation, all the separation, all the separation. There's only one real reason for anything other than love and joy and peace in our life, and that is separation, right? So you look around, all you have to do, look at Facebook, look at Twitter, look at Instagram, look at any kind of social media. Not all of it, of course, but there is so much that is being propagated about separation, them and versus us versus them, Democrats, Republicans, immigrants, residents, all of that stuff. Borders. And if you look around the world right now, there is a huge cry for love. There's a huge cry for freedom. There's a huge cry for peace in the world right now. Look around the world. Look at what's happening in Spain. Look what's happening all over the world. The riots in Hong Kong and many other places, right? And so in the United States, we've got our own stuff going on, right? And so the reason that I picked this and it's called the treachery of specialness, is that it's something that is key to really getting in our lives, right? And I know it sounds like a scare. It sounds so scary. The treachery of specialness, and it is kind of scary because it keeps you from peace. It keeps you from unity, right? So what's the opposite of separation? Unity, right? So we're going to read a few of these, and not going to read the whole thing because, like I said, I can't read the whole thing. But there's a few highlights that I'm just going to kind of pick out here and talk about. All right, everybody? All right. So it's page 502, chapter 24, section 2, page 502 if you have the combined version. Okay? Chapter 24, section 2. It's called The Treachery of Specialness. So I may need my Superman glasses, but I may not. Who knows? All right, everyone. So here we go. The treachery of specialness. The very first line is really powerful. Let's look at it. Comparison must be an ego device. Let's just stop right there. Device for love makes none. Comparison must be an ego device, for love makes none. From A Course in Miracles point of view, we have love and we have the ego, right? The egoic mind is the mind that's separated. The more separated, the stronger the ego, right? And it's not ego as Freud would determine it. It's ego in a little bit different way. It's the self turned against itself, right? It's the part of you that turns against yourself. So let me say it again. Comparison must be an ego device, for love makes none, makes no comparison. Think about that for a second. Think about in your life when you are comparing, when others compare. They're better, they're worse. They're fat, they're thin. They're successful, they're a failure. All of that is comparison, comparison, comparison. That is the ego. That is the ego. And this is all about specialness, right? So, what the ego mind does is it tries to convince you that you're either better than someone else or you're worse than someone else on any level. On any level, it doesn't matter. It could be your education, it could be your body, it could be a million different things, right? Love makes no comparison. Or, in other words, God makes no comparison. Love, God, source, life makes no comparison. As the Buddha would say, it is what it is. Everything is exactly what it is, right? Okay, let's move on. So, specialness always makes comparisons. Makes sense. Specialness always makes comparisons. And that's just establishing more separation, more separation, more separation, right? Um, Pursuit of specialness is always at the cost of peace. Let me say that again. Think about how we are taught, especially in Western culture. You're so special. You're so special. You're better than them. You can be successful. They're not successful, but you could be successful. They don't have it together, but you can. We teach children this from the very early age. Very early age. It is in our DNA because the ego wants to get in the DNA to keep us separate. So let me say it again. Pursuit of specialness is always at the cost of peace. And I don't know about you, but I know that that's true for me. As soon as I'm in any kind of place, have been in my life at certain times, that, oh, I'm I'm better than them, on some level. And then if I feel like I'm better than them, then I have to keep up this facade of being better. I have to keep up this, like, okay, well, I proved I'm better. So now I have to keep up that I'm better. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of energy. Keep that up. Keep that up. Keep that up. Right? And where is peace in that equation? Where is peace in that equation? Nowhere. There's no peace in that. There's no peace in that. You might get a sense of, like, oh yeah, I'm right. Right? Yeah, I am right. I got the better job, or I am more fit than them, or whatever happens to be. But there's no peace in it. Real peace. There's no real peace in that, right? So, pursuit of specialness is always at the cost of peace. Um, Specialness is the idea of sin made real, right? So I'm just going through some of these, just talking about them. We'll talk in just a second. So specialness is the idea of sin made real. Now remember, sin just means you missed the mark, right? Or something's wrong, right? Something's wrong. You got off track. In reality, you never got off track. In reality, there's nothing wrong. In reality, everything is exactly perfect the way it's supposed to be. But when you try to be special, then literally, it's as if you made sin real, and sin is not real. Sin is this idea about, oh, you got off the mark a little bit. But that's only in this world. See, there's two realities kind of going on. There's a reality that we're looking through rose-colored glasses at our life, through our upbringing, through our relationships, through what we've decided, through all the meaning that we've given something. We're looking through all of those lenses, and we're looking at the world. We're looking at life. We're looking at ourselves. And then there's a whole other world, the big reality with a capital R, truth with a capital T, that has none of those perceptions, has none of those ideas. It doesn't have any specialness. Doesn't have any specialness. And so when the more that you feel that you're identified with your your small stuff self with an S, your name, your history, your abuse, your successes, your failures, your body, whatever, you are much more likely to identify with being special. And on the other hand, with being not special enough, right? It's really important. And think about this, really. This work is very deep and it's very subtle. It's very subtle, right? It's what we all, this work, everybody, is work that we all pass by every day. But if you and you really take in what I'm saying about specialness, you'll start to see that this is the truth. This is the truth. Because you cannot be special and be peaceful. It doesn't work. Like I said, you might have a momentary, and it's only temporary, momentary, kind of like, wow, I was right. But true inner peace, the peace that passeth all understanding, you don't get that when you're identifying with being special. All right? Take a big deep breath. Personally, I know. Listen, I only teach what I know. This work is really, really, really all about walking the walk. The Course in Miracles, let me just diverge for just a second. The Course in Miracles is a mystical path. And if you don't know what a mystical path is a path that asks you to walk the walk. It's not just another philosophy, it's not just another meme. It asks you to put this deeper into your cells of your being and walk the walk and reflect on how is that true. All right? Take a pause for just a second to see if there's comments or questions. Got a couple other things here that are really, really great. So we go about 30 minutes here, right? Anyone want to say anything or comment about anything that we've already talked about? I'll take I'll take your comments, your questions. And until then, just so if you're new to me, my name is Max Ryan. I've been a teacher and a student of A Course in Miracles for over 38 years. I started when I was about 18 years old, about 17 years old, and I was brought to a woman's house, and that woman happened to be Mary Ann Williamson, and I sat in her living room with people, and we talked about the course, and that's how I was introduced to A Course in Miracles, and it changed my life. It changed my life. All right. Okay. So no one has any comments or questions. All right. Cool. We'll keep going. That was our commercial. That was our commercial. Oh, if you would like to be on my mailing list to make sure that you get the notifications for these, please go to attractpositiveresults.com, sign up for my mailing list, and make sure that you're on the list to make sure that you, hi Ashley, that you're on there because we always send you notifications. And if you don't want to do that, you should do that because I got specials for you. But make sure you hit the bell here when you subscribe and hit the excuse me, all messages. Okay? All right, let's go on. Okay. I want to say this before I read this. One of the things that I always take away about specialness from the course is he says, you are special and no one is special and everyone is special. No one is special and everyone's special. Wrap your mind around that for a second. Emerald City says, I'm wondering if anyone else ever feels life like major things in life never seem to go your way, yet other times, of course, Emerald City. I mean, chime in if anyone feels like at times everything is going smooth and at other times it's not. Everyone here that's live, please give a thumbs up if that's true for you. Yes, yes. Let me tell you, let me tell you, let me tell you. If you're doing this work because you think that everything's going to go smooth, just turn this off right now because that's not the reason for doing this work. Getting this lesson all, but sometimes just feels so good to feel special. Yes, but that special is not what we're talking about special because the definition of special is not what we're talking about. All right? And I do understand that the way that you said that. Marcy, for all of you replay viewers that don't see the live chat, Marcy is saying it feels so good to be special sometimes. And it does feel good to be special. It does. But just make sure that you understand that doesn't make you better than someone else or worse than someone else, right? It's always good that someone loves you, right? Always good, no matter what. No matter what, it always feels good. That's okay. But like I was saying, we're not doing this work so everything is always hunky dory. You're doing this work so that you can have be self-actualized within yourself, right? Right? And we have to be really honest, Marcy, and everybody, because this is just my random opinion. A lot of times when we feel special, not just being loved. That's different. That's just being appreciated, right? But when you feel special, like really ask yourself, really truly ask yourself internally, is this separating me from others? Just ask yourself. There's no right or wrong answer. There's never a right or wrong answer. But it always comes back to how you feel, right? Okay. So, everyone's special and no one's special, right? Because we are all unique in our manifestation of a reflection of God, right? Hi, Shelley. So we're all unique in that. Marcy's different than me. Shelley's different than me. We're all different. We're different, but we're unique in that way. Unique is different than special, right? Okay, here we go. I gotta read this part. He says in paragraph 4, you are not special. Sorry, you're not special. You're not special. If you think you are and would defend your specialness against the truth of what you really are, how can you really know the truth? I'm going to say that again. First of all, you're not special. If you think you are and would defend your specialness against the truth of what you really are, remember what you really are, How can you know the truth? So there's truth behind all of those rose-colored glasses and all of those perceptions. There's the truth with the capital T. There's the truth with a capital T. Now, honestly, ask yourself this. Really ask yourself this. How much of your life are you trying to stand out or be unique or be different or be better or be this or be that or be that, right? How much are you trying to do that? Be really honest with yourself because I'll tell you, it's definitely something that I've had to deal with in my life. You're like, oh my God, it's so much freaking work. It's so much work. Well, you finally just go, oh God, I'm just like everyone else. Thank God. Thank God. Thank the Lord. I'm just like everyone else. It's no problem, right? And when you think you're special, you're separating yourself from source. But I'm telling you, it sneaks in there. Sneaks in there. And so when you defend being special, when you defend being special, you can't know the truth. You can't know peace. You can't know God. That that truth, beingness of truth, is beyond all perception, all perception, all perception. And so if you defend in any way being special, then or being or being more unique than someone else, then you suffer. You suffer, right? Good. Okay, let's keep reading. Just gonna do a couple more and then we'll wrap up. Okay, this is a big one. I actually need my glasses. Okay, so here we go. That's exactly right, Mary. That's exactly right. Oh, am I frozen? Looks like I'm frozen. Am I frozen? Yeah, because it can work the other side too. Being a victim. Being a victim. It looks like I'm kind of frozen. I'm good? Okay. All right. I'm going to read this whole thing. Just listen. Okay. You can defend your specialness, but never will you hear the voice for God beside it. They speak a different language, and they fall on different ears. To every special one, a different message, and one with different meaning is the truth. Yet, how can the truth be different to each one? The special messages the special hear convince them they are different and apart, each in his special sins and safe from love, which does not see his specialness at all. Christ's vision is their enemy, for it sees not what they would look upon, and it would show them that specialness they think they see is an illusion. Okay, the way Christ, God, source, grace, love sees us is without all of our uniqueness. So when we start identifying, this is all about identification, right? When we start identifying with our uniqueness, that is not how God is seeing us. That's not how source is seeing us. Source is seeing us as the perfect light of God. And my light is no more perfect than your light. Then this politician's light is no more perfect than this politician's light. Does that make sense? It's really important because as we do this, we start to see, oh, I'm being the victim to make me special, right? I'm being a victim in saying, oh, poor me, poor me, poor me, which is very different than saying I need help. Saying I need help, very different, right? Because the self image that you have of yourself, one of the things that I teach my students all the time is to ask yourself, what is God seeing about you that you're not seeing? What is God seeing that you're not seeing? And what are you seeing that God isn't seeing about yourself? That's a good question to ask yourself. Really good question. All right, everyone. And God doesn't even, it's not like, listen, God's not an old man in the sky, just so you know. It's just not an old man in the sky. We know that, right? Um, Let me just see this. Okay. So when you give up your specialness, I got to read this, and this is where we're going to wrap up. When you give up your specialness, when you get to, as the Buddha would say, the unborn, the unconditioned, the truth of who you are, listen to this. When you get there, you will no longer see what was never there, because your specialness is looking at all these different unique things going, well, then that's really, then this, you will never see that anymore. You will never see that anymore. Nor you will hear the sound, nor will you hear what makes no sound. All of that chatter going, be better, you should be better, maybe you should be this, maybe you should be that, maybe you should be that, maybe, that's all chatter, and it doesn't make, there's no real sound to that. It's all bullshit. It's all, oh, sorry, YouTube. It's all bull, right? It's all bull. Truth, God, source, doesn't see nothing like that, doesn't hear any of that, right? Is it, this is a great question, and this is where we're going to end. Is it a sacrifice to give up nothing and to receive the love of God forever? Take a deep breath. Because this is what's true. When you give up specialness, when you give up separation, what's right underneath is the peace beyond all understanding. The peace that is so profound that is beyond anything you could ever hear, you could ever want, or you could ever use for separation, because it's all one. All right, take a big deep breath. All right. In the final couple of minutes here, does anyone have any comments or questions real quick before we go? Someone just said something. Course in Miracles is so awesome. Is a sacrifice to give up nothing. You're going to give up all of this crap in your head. It's nothing. It's nothing. Right? Anyone want to say anything or ask anything before we wrap up? Well, there's Tempa's saying, is this like humility? No, it's far beyond humility. Humility is a true humility. What I find is a lot of times people are using humility in a very passive aggressive way. True humility is the stepping stone to getting to what we're talking about. But good question, Tempa. Good question. All right. So Eckhart Tolle says that he only sees himself as a teacher when he is teaching. Yeah. Yeah. Don't see yourself as you are in the moment. All right. All right. Yeah, I'd love to hear your opinion on being special and how the world holds up celebrities, society holds these people. Well, the whole world is the illusion, the world of illusion is all built on specialness. There's no opinion on that. That's just the way it is. Just the way it is. I just saw Maleficent today, and that was one of the themes. That was one of the themes: separation, separation, separation. When it came down to it, when the characters chose with love and unity, then everything works out. Then there's peace. Then there's peace, right? But the world is full of it. In the world of illusion, right? But you don't have to buy into that. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I know your time is valuable. And I appreciate being here. I love doing this, right? Fix myself and let go, but feel like I'm backwards. Keep doing the work. Keep doing the work. All right. What was I going to say? You are welcome. You're welcome. If you would like to become a patron, if you feel like you get any value from the work that I do, I would invite you to become a patron of mine on patreon.com, because everything that I do is based on you, from my students, from my courses, and from really wonderful people that give me money to pay my bills and do all that stuff. You can go to patreon.com/Max Ryan Coach. The link is in the bio. I'd really appreciate that. We'll be back next Wednesday for another Course in Miracles lesson. All right, but we'll be back on Monday night too here. So remember, tonight could be the best night of your life. That's the truth. I love you so much. Thank you again. See ya.